As we officially enter the legal tampering phase of free agency, there's just one question right off the bat. Is Malik Willis now a formality? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast platform. There have been a couple moves that have been made over the weekend. Discuss them in the final segment. James Conner's back. That was one of the moves, but there's a, potential, ripple effect for bringing James Conner back off of a, very serious injury early in last season. What does it mean for Jeremiyah Love at number 3? And I guess really here's the thing. I've been pushing back on it. I don't think it's a great idea. And I don't really understand why the Cardinals would think it's a good idea. But it seems increasingly obvious that Malik Willis to the Arizona Cardinals with around a $30 or $35 million guaranteed over 2-year contract is a formality. With legal tampering, beginning an hour ago. I recorded this morning because I didn't want to, record something over the weekend and then have something happen. Oh, disclaimer. From now, at least for the next few weeks, if I record something and I post it and then something big happens 2 hours after, I promise you, I didn't forget to talk about it on this show. This is the toughest time of year to figure out when to record. I know not big problems, but just bear with me. I do as much as I can to, be methodical about it. We will have the secondary shows in the afternoon to clean up anything that I missed or that happened after I recorded and posted. So here we are. As of right now, Malik Willis is not signed by the Arizona Cardinals, but just like ahead of any sort of NFL draft, usually 2 days before when reporting comes out, more times than not, that's what it's going to be. And I know that there have been rumblings surrounding Miami, the Jets, other teams, Atlanta, not so much for Malik Willis. It seems to be a match made in the desert with another LaFleur and Malik Willis. And I think it's time to start discussing what that's going to look like in concrete terms. So say they sign Malik Willis. Small sample size, fine. Looks good on tape, fine. Can throw the deep ball in the, very small sample size that he's been in this league, fine. I'm against it, but let's embrace it. What needs to happen next? We can talk a lot about what the offensive scheme is going to be. We can talk about all that stuff. We'll do that way later. What next if Malik Willis is starting for the Arizona Cardinals in 2026? What holes need to be filled immediately after? Say it with me. That's right. Offensive line. So, irrespective of what you think about Malik Willis, and regardless of what they do in the draft right now, there are a couple weeks, really only a few days, but a couple weeks where the Cardinals need to strike while the iron's hot. I just don't know if they're going to do it. There's a lot of big free agents out there. Rashawn Gary just got traded. Trey Hendrickson's out there. There are big name offensive linemen. Braden Smith is out there. Indy just gave Alec Pierce $114 million over 4 years. Braden Smith, I'm assuming, is moving on. If you sign Malik Willis, you've got to have the best possible offensive line in 2026. You've got to have that anyways, but to really see what Malik Willis is as a starter, you got to give him the best shot. And for all of the shortcomings of Michael Bidwell and all of those things, the things that can be controlled must be controlled. As of today, the Cardinals have $48 million in cap space to spend. There could be some more restructuring. I know that they're going to have to pay their rookies when they draft them, so it's not going to be that much, but they're top 12 in money to spend, and that's not a small amount of money to spend. I would spend 80% of it, 80% of the allocated funds on the offensive line and the pass rush. Now, if they are able to find 2 offensive linemen to bring in, whether they can bring in a Joe Bitonio or Wyatt Teller, and then maybe bring in Braden Smith and spend. They're going to have to overspend, but you spend your money there, then you can draft a pass rusher at 3. There's ways to pivot, but the Cardinals absolutely, no doubt about it, need to plug up the hole in the ship that is the offensive line, because it's taken on a lot more water that they've been able to dump out in buckets. And if you want to bring in Malik Willis and you want to say, hey, let's see what the kid's got, fine. Like, there are worse things. This is not going to be the Sam Bradford, Mike Glennon, Josh Rosen debacle. I mean, it's going to be as expensive. Sam Bradford made $20 million that year. But it's like, okay, the Cardinals are in a transitionary phase. They need to make massive impact roster-wise this season. But really, it's to strengthen the foundation for 2027. You need to be able to give the best look at Malik Willis that you're able to get. And if he's running for his life, why even sign him? Why even bring him in? It doesn't make any sense if you're really trying to see what you've got for the future and you're not bolstering the offensive line, namely the right side of it. For all of those who just have this collective amnesia about how bad the offensive line was, save the last 5 or 6 weeks when they were well out of playoff contention. If you don't protect the quarterback, nothing's going to work. None of it. So, listen, you want Malik Willis? Cool. He's going to eat up a lot of cap. That's fine. So, what's probably going to happen, just mathematically speaking, is they're not going to be able to spend the money on the offensive line that they would if they were running it back with Jacoby Brissett. Or Jimmy Garoppolo, whoever the hell it is. They bring in a vet for $3 million. And I know that they can structure contracts where things are signing bonuses and they don't hit against the cap and, the roster bonus, all those things. Like, that's what every team does. I understand that. But the Cardinals don't have $125 million to spend like the Raiders do. So just under 50 without the rookie draft yet, you give a lot of that to Malik Willis. It's like, well, then what's the rest of the roster going to look like? So my pushback more than anything on Malik Willis for this season for the Cardinals is that's taking money away from bolstering the offensive line and the defensive line. That's my biggest issue with it. And I mean, I guess a close second is that he hasn't played meaningful football for more than 2 games at a time twice in his career. But 11 games in 4 years. But there's just this rush to say, oh yeah, he's going to be great. I'm like, okay, I guess if you want to believe that, that's fine. The hope and the prayer. I mean, the marriage is as such, though, if they were to sign him as this, like, he needs a shot. The Cardinals need a quarterback. That's pretty much it. Oh, and Michael LaFleur, the brother and the offense. And listen, Matt knows that Malik Willis is good. And so he tells his brother, and then that's it. I'm like, oh, that's it. Super Bowl. It's like, we just say things. String words together in a sentence. Be like, oh, that makes rational sense. Where? I just don't get it. I know that Malik Willis won a couple games in Jordan Love's stead, but Cardinals ain't the Packers. And the right side of the offensive line definitely ain't the Packers' offensive line. So if it is a formality, and it's trending to seem to be, I'm checking Twitter every 3 minutes to see the breaking news. They must allocate the majority of the rest of their free agent funds to the offensive line. Because if you're going to sign Malik Willis, you may as well give him the best shot to succeed. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. James Conner's back on a restructured deal. What does it mean? We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for with skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's something that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates. Less time, less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get you the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about us or heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. All right. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals, hit the subscribe button. You know what the deal is. We still got this awesome giveaway up until March 15th. Free agency's here, so are we. Get 1 month free of the Everydayers Club with code FREEAGENCY, no spaces, now through March 15th. Go ads free and keep the conversation going on Discord. Link is in the description. This is the time, man. You want to talk about the Cardinals? You want to talk about the Cardinals outside of this show with me? Everydayers Club. It's really a great spot to be in. So James Conner is back. Oh, subscribe. Big dumb face 5 days a week. I Locked On AZ Cards on Twitter. Or I Locked On AZ Cards. Nope. Well, that's true. But also search Locked On AZ Cards on YouTube. And we're back. James Conner's back on a very team-friendly restructured deal. This is interesting. Like, I thought that he would be, I know he's 31, but I thought that he'd be able to get $7 million for 1 year as a hired gun somewhere else. He seems to really love being here. I think that Michael LaFleur said I'd be like, bro, we've got the run game for you. You want to shine? It's not just going to be halfback dives and off tackles. You see what we do? You see what we did with the Rams? Made Kyron Williams a star. And I think that this is a good move for the Cardinals. Very, very low impact. And it's also terrifying, because I do not need to be reminded that neither Trey Benson nor James Conner played into November of last year, let alone mid-October. He's coming off broken foot. He had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. James Conner has been the heartbeat of this offense since signing. And the overutilization of him, not last year. They didn't look great before he got hurt either. But the overutilization of him, because Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray couldn't figure out how to run a stable offense without James Conner, has just kind of been a detriment to him down. Now, like, this is the thing. It's not even James Conner's success and the run game success isn't even really anchored just to him. I mean, can Trey Benson stay healthy? Can Trey Benson stay healthy? If Trey Benson can stay healthy, we can enter the world that I've been ramping up for the last 3 years, 3 years, where James Conner takes over the LeGarrette Blount role. For those who don't know who LeGarrette Blount is, he was with the Patriots. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles the year after he won with the Patriots. He was with the Steelers. He was with the Lions. Like, the dude was an absolute mauler. And I always go back to the Patriot years, because when the Patriots were up 10, 13, 16 in the fourth quarter, it was the LeGarrette Blount time. He get 3, 4 yards of carry, 4 yards of carry, 5 yards of carry, boom, and just churn clock. And that's what James Conner can do. So this is predicated upon Trey Benson's health, in the sense that if Trey Benson can eat between the 20s, you've got one of the best red zone and goal line running backs in football still. James Conner 100% is. I've said for years, like, some running backs have a nose for the end zone. And James Conner does. He just does. Some running backs just can't get in the end zone inside the 5-yard line. James Conner's not one of those guys. But the question that everybody wants to discuss, which obviously is part of the plot, so it needs to be discussed, what does this do? What does this do for the Jeremiyah Love conversation? Point goes to people who don't think the Cardinals draft Jeremiyah Love at 3. I'm not saying that James Conner and Trey Benson are like, oh, the Cardinals running back room is saved. Got him. But it would make no sense, unless Trey Benson's injury is way worse than people think, it would make no sense to have all three of those guys under contract. Like, quite literally, it would make no sense. So, for those that think that Jeremiyah Love is the best player in the draft because you think that and you've watched film, or because your favorite draft pundit says it, whatever it is, I have a hard time believing that the best player available in any draft can be from a non-premium position. I just do. But with James Conner back, regardless of what I think, they're still 100% in the running for Jeremiyah Love. Like, things can make sense and not sense at the same time when you're talking about the Arizona Cardinals. So, what looked to be one of the more fun running back rooms in football going into last season is just one old big fat question mark now. One old big fat question mark now, because you don't know what you have with Trey Benson anymore. You don't know what you have with Trey Benson anymore. I mean, he was a starter for like 10 minutes and then he got hurt. So, unfortunately, quite unfortunately, if they don't draft Jeremiyah Love, which I'm assuming they won't, if they don't draft Jeremiyah Love, which I'm assuming they won't, this is going to be trial by fire with James Conner and Trey Benson versus James Conner and Trey Benson. Can they stay on the field? Because if they can't, namely Trey Benson, I mean, he may not be an Arizona Cardinal in 2027. It's like, where's the upside? But on the other side, if this, Sonic and Knuckles kind of thing, is that what they call Sonic and Knuckles? Is Knuckles the backup to Sonic? The Robin to Sonic? I haven't played Sonic the Hedgehog since Sega Genesis. I'm old. But if they can have the, thunder and lightning kind of thing with Trey Benson and James Conner, and they're healthy for the majority of next season, and you can see what this run offense looks like with the Mike LaFleur scheme and it working, then that opens your eyes to not only who you could draft later, or, you bring back Trey Benson, but then free agents will be like, oh, I can run that offense, because now you can see what the offense is. You could not see the Cardinals' run offense last year because they were always in fight or flight mode with James Conner and Trey Benson out. They were like, all of that was just paper mache together. So you don't have any real proof of concept with anything. Like, you saw it 2 years prior and the year before that with Drew Petzing's run offense, where the Cardinals were bad, but they were still able to run the hell out of the ball with Josh Dobbs and then Kyler Murray the second half of that season. And then 2024, they were able to run the ball. Last year was a wash. So this year coming up, it's like, okay, so did you bring back James Conner showing you're not going to go running back at 3? I don't understand. Like, I don't see a pushback against that. But if they do draft Jeremiyah Love, it's like, okay, well, that's a lot of mouths to feed, but out of 3, you're going to find 2 that work for 2027 and beyond, most likely going to be the 2 younger guys. Like, if that's the rationale behind it, I guess it makes sense, kind of. But who's going to block for him? I really don't mean to be a broken record. Truly, I don't. Like, I'm not trying to push this narrative and it says, oh, this is the only way I'm going to be happy with what the Cardinals draft. That's not it. It's not about being right. It's about what I think the best way to build this roster is. And revisionist history or otherwise, the Cardinals have constantly failed at drafting the position of need that protects the quarterback, correctly. Paris Johnson Jr. is good, but I mean, I think it would be malpractice for the Cardinals to bring back James Conner and draft Jeremiyah Love. You know how much money that ties that running back to? Do yourself a favor. Look at how much the third overall pick makes. I don't think it's worth it, especially where the Cardinals are at. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. A couple other little roster moves made. I don't really understand either of them, but it's early. We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Game Time. We live in a world where we can stream everything, order food in minutes, and carry supercomputers in our pockets, and somehow buying tickets to a live game still feels complicated. Hidden fees, jumping prices, endless steps. There has to be a better way, and that's why I use the Game Time app. It gives fans the advantage and makes getting tickets simple, whether it's NFL games, concerts, comedy, whatever you're into. I actually went to the Suns game last night against the Hornets, and my dad was in town, and we went. I was like, yeah, let's look at the Game Time app. I looked at it, got tickets in like 3 minutes. When you look at the app, the number that pops up is the number you pay. So there's not a whole bunch of fees or anything at the end where it's like, oh, this looks good, but then it's clickbait. This is actually what it's going to be, like almost double. That's not it with Game Time. Plus, I hadn't sat in this section in row before, so I clicked on the seats before I bought them, and I was able to have a panoramic view from the seat before I bought it so we know exactly what our vantage point would be. Couldn't be easier. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets down the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. YouTube channel, subscribe, Big Dumb Face. Do it. Sean Murphy-Bunting is returning on a restructured deal that's going to knock down his cap number, which will open up a little bit more cap space. He was out for the entirety of last season. The Cardinals also signed Josh Carty, who was with the Rams, kicker with the Rams for the last 2 seasons. 10 for 15 last year in 8 games. 2 field goals blocked. He missed 3 extra points. That's it. I know he's coming in to compete with Chad Ryland, who also signed a 1-year extension. But it's like, there has got to be better options. Chad Ryland has been fine. 2024, he made a bunch of game-winning kicks before their bye week. He hasn't totally turned into a pumpkin, but his skin is turning orange. You know that episode of Scrubs? This is going to be random. There's an episode of Scrubs where, this guy walks in, he's eating a carrot, and his wife's sick or something, and his skin is super orange, and people don't understand why. It's because he ate all the carrots. It's kind of like that. He hasn't turned into a pumpkin yet, but there are signs. There are signs. Yes, if the Cardinals had Raiders money, I would say go get Brandon Aubrey and give him $7 million a year. I don't care. Brandon Aubrey is the greatest kicker I've ever seen. But I don't think the Cardinals are going to do that. So those 2 moves, one was kind of an afterthought. I'd be shocked if Josh Carty was the starting kicker for the Arizona Cardinals week 1, but I've been surprised once or twice before with this team. The Sean Murphy-Bunting one is interesting. He didn't play great the one, stint where he was healthy when he first came over, got beat on a handful of deep balls early in seasons, whether it be completed passes or pass interference. If you're keeping him here as just a vet presence, okay. I mean, at this point, depending on how long Garrett Williams is gonna be out for, if Will Johnson's ready to rip and Denzel Burke can take that second step, then you don't make all rookie team for no reason. I know he had a handful of interceptions, which probably helped his cause. And I think 2 of them were in 1 game during garbage time, but it's just fascinating. This made me think, this is what it made me think. It made me think this is what the Cardinals do every offseason. Take Josh Carty out of it. It's you do your housekeeping first, restructure your guys, James Conner, Sean Murphy-Bunting. Other teams are already swinging. Other teams are already making deals. They're already trading. They're already moving. They're already bringing in more talent and giving these big contracts. And the Cardinals are just ho-humming. Ho-hum. Yep, James will save $4 million there. Sean Murphy-Bunting will save $4 million there, which is great. You want to get your ducks in a row before going out to, open water. But it seems like the same teams are beating down the doors to, the Waste Management Open at 4:30 in the morning to get to the 16th green. And the Cardinals their alarm just went off. Got to shower. Got to drive up there, got to brave the crowds. Hopefully you can get a view of the green. That's just kind of what it feels like. every time we're here when legal tampering starts. Now, I know how insane that sounds because legal tampering quite literally, as I'm recording this, started 44 minutes ago. Okay. But man, it just seems like the Cardinals are well beyond the curve when it comes to this. And it's just difficult to watch. It's just difficult to watch. Now, that's not to say they're not going to make splashes. That's not to say that they're not going to be able to bolster this lineup, especially the offense. There's plenty of time. They've got plenty of cheese. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Malik Willis. It'll be interesting to see if they use that money elsewhere. I wonder if they're waiting to see if they can land bigger free agents to use that money, or if they're deciding that they're going to sign Malik Willis and figure everything else out after that. Because while I know that the quarterback position is the most important, of course, it's the most important position in football, obviously. Is it better for this team to have a better roster and a vet plug-in quarterback than have a what-if as a 27-year-old quarterback and leaving gaping holes on the roster that could bring the entirety of the Tide down? I don't know what the answer is. Truly, I don't know what the answer is. That wasn't rhetorical. Like, are the Cardinals better off allocating the majority of funds to the offensive line, linebacking core, maybe an off-ball backer, drafting an offensive lineman, and bringing in, keeping Jacoby Brissett for pennies on the dollar so you can bolster the entirety of the roster and then plop in a rookie in 2027 on a rookie scale deal where everybody else can still be paid? You have the offense in place, especially with the first-time head coach. You have Nick Rollis. I don't know, man. But this is brand new. We are really right at the beginning. Again, I apologize if something happens after I record this. I'm not a 24/7 news service, but I will keep you up to date with the most breaking information. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Join the Everydayers Club. You get a free month if you sign up by March 15th. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you this afternoon.